Hello, welcome to episode 2 of Authors Fit. I am your host, Munira Hussein. Today we are speaking to Charles Chanchori, the amazing writer who's also um, hiding always in the literary scene, often questions where he is and what he's up to, and he's here to tell us just that today. Charles Chanchori is a Kenyan lawyer and writer whose short story Around Nairobi in One Night went viral, attracting millions of readers and leading to a feature film adaptation. He has written a dozen books, including Old Money, Ben Kiama and the School of Greatness, and Desperate Times, published by Oxford University Press. And he is a screenwriter of the feature films Pillow Talk and To Asanda, and episodes of the TV shows Stay and Quarter Past. Welcome, Charles Chanchori.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Karibu.
Asante sana.
Yes.
How have you been?
I have been well.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
Where have you been?
Home. I've been writing.
Okay.
I've been writing. I've been living. You know us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind
everything is a story.
The keyboard.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I've been living and therefore gathering material to keep writing.
That is good.
Yeah.
That is really good.
Yeah.
I know there's a requirement sort of for writers to show up, but be out there in public, interact with readers, go to literary events. These days, even
That's a
market,
thing?
on social media.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, you're supposed to market yourself, post and blah blah blah, which is, I think, a lot. I don't think we are cut out for that kind of life.
We should be though.
Should we?
Yeah, we should be. We should be. At least on this side of the continent or the world, where we have to, as writers, we have to do all these things ourselves.
Yeah.
You have to research yourself, you have to write yourself, and then you have to, if you are self-publishing the thing, you have to do that yourself.
Yes.
And then now, like the marketing and the sales, unfortunately, it's difficult. It's so difficult, but you have to do it yourself too.
I wonder how that balance strikes, though, like to be the entire industry and still be the writer. Because I was listening to Michael Conley, I think, and he was talking about how he doesn't even look up anything. He just shoots a question to a researcher or an assistant or some sort of person that helps him with that.
Lucky him.
And then just focuses on the writing. And so I wonder how we strike a balance, how you strike a balance between being the entire industry and then the creator, because I feel like it does affect productivity in a way. So
in my experience, and notice how I'm just going to use my own experience here. Let's start with my first book, Zoo, for example. Right? I wrote Zoo because I was very active on social media back then. I had this very active Facebook page where it's like people demanded for a book before I even ever wrote one. After the Uber story, so-called, went viral. So people just wanted to see what's next. And I kept them busy on Facebook. But then they kept saying, so, if you write a book, we will buy. And for once, they actually did. Because mostly when people say that, they
don't mean it.
Yeah. But in my case, I was very, very lucky to be able to publish my first book and for it to sell as well as it did, which provided me with a very peculiar problem, which I wish I had today.
Yeah.
Right? So Zoo came out in 2018. And you remember where we used to go print the books in Hurlingham?
Yeah.
Right? And we used to live in Kasarani. Right? So take a matatu to the city, to CBD, and then take another matatu to Hurlingham. Go deal with this expensive printer. Oh my God, those guys were so expensive. And then buy so many books because you have been people are buying books. So it's a nice problem.
Yes.
Stack them in your backpack. Manze hadi your bag iliraruka. Because of carrying books. First of all, because people are buying, it's many people buying, books wanabai akiwa peke yake. So it's like you have to package them in all these envelopes, right? And write all this. So you are writing like 50, 70, names, and then you have to physically deliver all these things from office to office. So one time you have to be in Kirinyaga Road, way the hell downtown. and then you have to send other books near Uhuru Highway, and you have unatembea hadi kiatu inaisha, you know. So I at some point I went and I burned out, you know, because now on top of that I was also my own sort of boda courier guy, you know. I went and burned out. And so I stopped supplying books as much as I should, and I even stopped marketing them because man, I couldn't keep up. You know, good problem to have. And then now, Nuria came, for example, Nuria Bookshop, and now you just publish your book, you send it to Nuria, they deliver. You can market, you can tell people go buy the book here, they'll deliver anywhere. Yeah, but when we were starting out, all that wasn't there.
It's a lot.
So so now that left you with even less time and temerity to market your work. You know, but now when there are all these resources, there is Nuria, there is the Boda guys, there is everything. I'm not publishing anymore, and also I sort of, I don't know, I lost it. I lost the will to do. I still write. I still write. I write a lot of movie scripts. I need to have a continuous creative output in my life. But for books, since there isn't as much demand for my work as there used to be, which is entirely my fault because, like you said, I have disappeared a lot. But also I don't have that. I would need that kind of help where if I could just have this system where I write and write and write, and then there's a system that helps, that takes over the marketing. I can take part in marketing, but where I'm being told what to do. Not where I have to
curate the entire plan.
The whole thing, you know.
True.
Yeah, that doesn't work. So I just published, my last book was Watch Where You're Going, in 2021 or 2022, something around there.
4 years.
And I marketed it. I posted about it twice, tops, on Facebook. Like, I've released a book. Oh, you guys, by the way, continue buying my book. Thanks.
And
then
off I go.
You know, so I'm even surprised that people still buy these books. Which is really amazing. I don't know, because I haven't done much in marketing.
The market is there. The people want to read your work, and you don't necessarily have to be the one to do all this work, but it means there's a lot of work that needs to be done in getting the books to the audience. And then, you know, people like having conversations about the books they read. So book clubs and reading events where people come for book signing. I'm just throwing ideas out there. No pressure.
and if because you see how they do it, probably like in the West, where for others who are lucky enough to, first of all, they have agents, right, and then these agents hook them up with, I don't know, publishers or whatever. Lucky them.
There's
you know, they're living the life. It's amazing.
It's amazing,
right? And then when you get an advance,
I know.
right? Like,
what miracle is that?
Wow.
I know.
And then you write your book, right? And, you know, everybody thinks it's a good, amazing book, blah, 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 blah. It's going to get published, right? And then there's a whole machinery that kicks in. You are just a part of it. You're probably the face of it. You are told, Kesho, at a certain point, you go to this radio station or podcast, go hang out with Munira, talk about this book at this and this time. And then you have all these interviews. You have this, you know, book signing or book reading at this. And, you know, if there were people doing that, I will show up. But if I have now to make sure that is happening, happens, I organize and
it's a lot.
And it's to my detriment, right? Because I'm so focused on writing. I'm so focused on just the creative output. And I have tried them. It's not like I haven't tried the marketing thing. It's just...
it's draining.
It's I did it for much. Zoo and Hello Mother and Rock Bottom, my first 3 books. And then at some point, I couldn't even get out of bed.
And then I think with social media, things get lost. Like if you're not constantly doing this.
Oh my God, that's another thing.
It can be very exhausting. And I feel like there are days I just wake up and, you know, I'm done with this social media thing and quit. I'm not allowed to do that if I have to constantly show up and post.
No.
So I'm like, you know, those that find me will find me, and so be it, which is quite lackluster, and like I don't care, but I do. It's just that I feel like this is not the way to do it for me, at least.
Yeah.
So We'll figure something out, I think.
What we do need to have a sort of collaboration with, because people need to do what they are good at, right? And this country is full of people who know how to market things and sell things. There are people in this country who can sell water to a river. All right.
True.
And this writing thing, this industry, it needs that kind of collaboration. Because probably these good marketers, they can't write a book to save their own lives.
True.
So we write, they market, everybody makes money.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be nice.
We're not talking to anyone in particular, but if anyone is listening, yes.
That would be nice.
So, yeah, I feel like the marketing bit is quite a huge issue for a lot of us writers. So it would be nice to find some way of someone else taking over that responsibility while you keep writing, and because that's what you want to do at the core of it.
Just create.
Talking of writing, how has it been? You wrote for the Standard for a long time. First of all, you're not an Uber driver, so I'm curious, how do you? And you're not a PTSD soldier who's come back from war, their own life maybe.
Yeah.
But how do you create such a real experience for something that you've not experienced? Because a lot of writing usually is people say, "Oh, write what you know." So what do you know about?
You remember
or how do you create that experience? Yeah.
You remember that thing I told you, where you live? It's like part of being a writer is you keep a very keen eye on life. You experience things. Whereas some people they go through life like as a routine. You wake up in the morning, you get ready, you catch a matatu, you go to work, you spend the day in the office, and then you hang out at lunch with your friends, or if you packed your own lunch at your desk, you do your thing, and then in the evening you catch a matatu home, you get to the house, you're beat, you're exhausted, you shower, you eat, you sleep, wake up tomorrow, do it all over again, right? And even when I was doing that, as part of my routine, when I had like a 9 to 5, I was still very keenly aware of how the sun is rising this morning, where it's finding me, how the sun is shifting in across the sky. Like where the sun rises in January isn't where the sun will rise in June. It moves.
Yes.
And the trees sort of look different depending on where the sun is rising from. And then now as I walk from the house to the matatu stage, I will create since I was walking alone, I would create stories about all these people that I walk with, right? Or the people, if I show up at the matatu stage at 6:30 a.m., right? There are people whose routine also demands that they be there at that particular point in time, right? I won't try and establish a relationship with these people, but I will be curious about who they are. And if one morning they're not there, I will wonder, and I will create a story about it. And these are strangers, right?
Yeah.
Now, I have this thing, a motto in my life, where I try not, when it comes to the human experience, I opt to go for depth as opposed to breadth, right? Instead of going wide, I go deep. So I try and get to develop these very deep human relationships and understand very human emotions from what on the face of it might seem like a very superficial level, and also to a very deep, very vulnerable level, right? So to answer your question, na nimeiendea mbali, I've gone for this answer like
I'm navigating.
But to answer your question, being a good writer does require you to understand humanity on a level that goes beyond what most people would want to.
Yeah.
Right? And these human emotions, they cut across everybody, whether you're a plumber or a soldier or a judge of the high court or whatever, Yeah. Once you scrape away all these day lives of ours, at the end of the day, we are all just kids with bills to pay.
True.
Right? And so being a writer means you have this job to try and unmask this veneer of adulthood and be left with the inner child and how they deal with their day-to-day lives. So now that way you can have the privilege of, you can write about soldiers. They have their own challenges. You can write about a conductor or a matatu. They have their own challenges and how they deal with that. Some people, they are frustrated, right? So if you're writing about human frustration, for example, the way it manifests, probably makanga atakuongelesha vibaya.
Yeah.
But then that's because they woke up at 3 a.m. They are tired. Gig haileti pesa. And then you people are refusing to sit for. And so atakwambia wewe shuka, And on the face of it, you'll be like, oh, makanga ako rude. But, once you scrap that away, he's just a child who is working so hard to earn a living.
Yeah.
And this is how he thinks, if I do this, I might make just maybe 100 more than I made yesterday. Excuse me. But these people are not being compliant. So he lashes out,
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same thing as like somebody who feels they're giving this life thing they're their best shot. It's not working out.
Yeah.
And so now they start looking for an exit strategy.
Yeah.
These are two people who are frustrated, but they're trying to handle it.
Deal with
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just you need to be able to unmask this thing this mask that we have on of adulthood, and just be able to understand what are people. Just empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Empathy is the word I've been trying to find. That now helps. I can write about Uber drivers, soldiers, cops, teachers, judges. Doesn't matter. These are just, devices.
Like, at the core of us, we want the same things, more or less.
Yeah. Just that security, just to be seen, to feel seen, heard, loved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your characters are quite intense and they have such extreme reactions. Well, not extreme, warranted half the time. And I always, the pages are action-packed. I was rereading Life of Sin and Carnival Mountain, and then I'm now rereading No Humans Allowed.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever read any of your works and felt like I could catch a break, which is good.
Yeah.
Like, the pages just keep rolling.
Yeah.
And I wonder, how do you maintain that attention on paper? And it feels like you're in the zone when you're writing it. And I think you're the only person I know who can sit down and write a whole book.
Yeah.
In a day or two, and then
I did used to bang them out like 5,000 words a day, like a crazy person.
How do you do that? How do you put aside the questions? Is this a good story? Is this character developed? How do you manage to actually finish a draft and then come back to it?
Discipline and confidence.
Need to sit.
I think I've stated those in the wrong order. Confidence, that,
I got this.
I'm the man. Whatever I'm writing is gold, at least for the first draft.
Yeah.
Even though it's not. But when I'm writing the first draft, that's not the time for questions.
Yeah.
That's the time to start the story, write whatever the hell I'm going to write in the story, and get to the end.
Yeah.
Right? And then I know that at some point, I will rewrite whatever weaknesses that will emerge in the story.
Yeah.
I will fix them in subsequent drafts. But for draft one, the idea is to start and finish. Because then you can't make a story good if you don't have a story to begin with.
I know that, and I hear it all the time.
But
I can't. I have...
What's your process? What do you, because you have finished books too.
I have, right? It's been so long since I finished writing even a short story. I was so excited recently when I got to the end of a short story. I have so many incomplete drafts on my laptop that I'm like, if I died today, they'd be like, she tried, but she didn't make it.
You'd have this Wikipedia section, unrealized projects.
Exactly.
Oh, no, that sucks.
My tombstone will be like, we don't know what to say, neither did she.
Yeah, she didn't get there yet.
She didn't get there yet.
Yeah, she didn't get there.
That could be tragic. And I think about that a lot. I'm like, is this how you want to go? But, and I also, and you have told me this before, that maybe it's because I haven't developed the story in my mind. And half the time I have, it's just how to translate what's in my mind on paper or on paper. Well, it's not paper per se, but on paper.
Pretty much.
But I can't shut that.
It's like you're building a house, no? Like when you're building a house, you first of all you go and get the house drawn on
Yeah.
paper, right? With measurements and everything. It's the can I say dog shit on this thing? It's like the dog shit draft.
Yeah.
It's terrible, you know. And then now the fundis come and they build the foundation and just erect this thing. You can't sleep in it. You can't do anything with it. It's ugly, right? It's just a bunch of stones cemented piled together, like right with holes for windows and doors and everything, and no ceiling, nothing, right? You can't sleep in there. You can't do anything. It's a house, but it's not, right? Now that's a first draft, right? And then now other people will come now and fix other things.
Yes.
You know, the plasters and I don't have the terminology for building houses, but you get the point.
Yeah.
You know, sort of make the house look like a house that a human being can occupy. So now that's the rewriting process. You know, you come across this character and you're like, this character doesn't look so, isn't where I thought they would be. And then now when you're rewriting, you know how to fix that. But then now you see you can't fix anything if you don't have the discipline to sort of just not shut down your mind.
Yeah.
I told you, Kitambo, I used to write 5,000 words a day. It's just like you put your head down and you write. There's no other way to go about it. You just have to do it.
That's the worst bit. There's no trick. There's no shortcut.
No, you just have to do it. You know? And so I used to have this piece of paper, a sticky note, stuck on the wall above my desk, which used to say, if you don't write 5,000 words a day, you will die poor, hungry, depressed, and fat.
Okay.
So write 5,000 words a day. And that's how I wrote Zoo, Hello Mother, Rock Bottom, which have you seen the size of that thing?
Yes.
It's 911 pages long.
It's a very big book.
Yeah, it's madness, you know? But you just have to do it. There are no tricks. There are no shortcuts.
Yeah.
You know, just do the
no
thing.
shortcuts. I was reading the book I shared with you, The Bird by Bird by Anne. And there's this writer friend of ours who says, if you don't write, you could just kill yourself. Something extreme. I feel like those extreme threats are what might work. And
they work for me.
You know, here you are writing all those pages and all those words in a day. So I don't know. I think maybe I make excuses for the mind and go like, oh, I sat at the desk and didn't write. But you know, one thing I love about Bird by Bird, it does acknowledge that bit where you're seated in front of the screen and nothing pops out. But she says, keep sitting there and don't move and something will pop up. But then I was listening to Paul Harding the other day, and I think I should now hold off on the listening to advice on writing and just write. But he was saying, but if there's no need to waste all those hours or minutes in front of the screen when you can just watch a game and think about the writing. And I'm like, I don't know which one would work better. Should I sit there and write or try to write, or should I do something else and then probably never get back to my desk again for that day?
You have to see what works for you, though, because what works for me is military discipline. Yeah. I have like if there's this guy Kinyanjui Kompani, right? When he was working on one of his books, I don't know whether it's Hawkers Pokers or something. He put together a WhatsApp group, both to hold himself accountable and for other writers to hold each other accountable and hold themselves accountable. That way, if you're working on a project, you commit to writing at this number of words per day. Right? And there would be, it was a very organized group. It ended when he finished writing. KK, Kinyanjui Company, you need to revisit this thing. But there was like a whole spreadsheet thing. Like Charles has committed to writing 5,000 words a day. Munira has committed to writing 500 words a day, because we all work on different levels. Right. And then at the end of the day, you come back to the group and you say, this is the number of words that I have written today. Right. And some people would go beyond what they expected. Sorry. I don't remember anybody going below or what used to happen if you go below. I'm sure there was something like that. But everybody was so disciplined and it worked very well.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like you just need to you set a target for yourself. And then you do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that you have written this number of words by the end of the day. They do not have to be good words.
They could
They just have to be words.
Kidnapped and forced into some sort of paragraph.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will fix them in the second draft or third or fourth or whatever. Writing is rewriting. You have to do a lot of rewriting.
True.
But you are not rewriting anything you haven't written in the first place.
That is true.
Yeah.
I think that also sort of negates this idea that we writers write in solitude. Because after the ILS program, we formed we had the group, so we formed this writing community of sorts from that, where we would meet on Zoom. Was it once or twice a week? And then you check in and say hello, and then everybody mutes everything and then writes for an hour.
Oh.
You just sit there and write, and then when you're done, when the hour is over, you check in and go like, hey, how was the session? Did you write? And then, you can continue writing or call it a day if that's what works. So I feel like that sort of writing community, whether it could be one person or two people, but that sense of accountability also really helps with productivity.
I mean, whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever works. I don't know if it will work for me, but we are not talking about me. But whatever works, seriously.
We are talking about you, actually. Yeah. So, okay, back to your writing. You write film, you write fiction, you've written short stories.
And now I'm supposed to write children's stories for Oxford.
Well, you have. You already have, right?
I've written junior secondary school books, right? How old are these people? Not children. They are children, but not
small children.
Not toddlers. Not you know. Yeah. Now I'm supposed to write for even younger children.
Yeah.
You know?
That should be interesting.
It should be a nice challenge, because that's how I wrote even for junior secondary school. Because my earlier work, it's gritty and violent and very intense, like you say.
Yeah.
Not bound to be admitted in any schools anytime soon. Yep. But then some years ago, I felt I need to challenge myself to write for schools. And that's how I wrote Carnival Mountain.
Yeah.
But then turns out writing for schools is not enough. You need to go ahead and sort of get traditionally published.
Yeah.
Because then that's how now you get your book, you get your foot in the door. That's how, if I say, hey, my name is Charles, to some random, head of English department in some school in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I have written this very nice book for kids, for schools. Every kid should read this book. They'll just look at me like, and who published it? Oh, I did. And then they're like, okay, we will call you.
And they won't.
Yeah, goodbye. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I saying that to say? Yes, I don't know. I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
You've written or you write all these diverse things. How different are they? Do you switch on one brain and turn off the other when writing the different things? How difficult or easy is that?
Now, do I switch off my brain, or to shift from like a very intense, very adult project to say like a book for young readers? No, not really. What usually happens is I think of it from the perspective of characters, right? Because stories are the same.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Ben Kiyama and the School of Greatness. It's about a kid growing up, in hardships and learning and, trying to fight his inner voice of doubt as he tries to make his way to beat his challenges so that he can be confident enough to win a scholarship at a really prestigious school, right? Now, that is the character that is carrying that story forward. And this character, he processes things the way a 12-year-old in his environment would try and process these things. It's just character, right? Now, the Uber story, right? You have this I will call it Around Nairobi in One Night because that was
It
the
is
name I
Around
gave the
Nairobi in
story.
One Night,
Yeah.
yes.
That's the name
The
of the
Uber story
story.
is what the rest of
Yeah, it's the what the
people
fans call
decided,
it.
yes.
So okay, higher. So it's a story about this soldier who kidnaps, carjacks this Uber driver, Daniel, and tries to sort of give him a new perspective on life by sort of shoving him into the deep end of the pool and making him swim.
Yeah.
Right. And Daniel has to, swim or sink. That's another story, but it's also being driven by these characters. Like Charles has had a very intense, the soldier has had a very intense, very traumatic experience at war. And so he's propelling this knight, depending on what a soldier like him would react or act under this set of circumstances with this objective. So it's all just about character. Once you have figured out the character, there is something that I am not very attuned to very well yet, which is understanding your audience. It's very important, apparently. And I need to learn, but life, you learn. You keep learning as you go, right? But I feel I have the baseline, which is to understand your character, understand the story, understand the characters, and then make them true to who they are under their circumstances. Next thing you know, you can write young adult books. You can write stories about serial killers. I used to be very good at that. And you can write movies. You can write books. You just have to. I just can't write poetry still.
I did not want to bring up poetry at all.
I still can't. Don't. It's my Achilles heel.
Oh my god.
Don't.
Yeah, okay. Okay, no poetry.
Yes, please. Thank you. Okay.
But I think you're right about the character bit. Or rather the character driving even the plot of the story.
And that's why you asked earlier, sorry, about what makes the sort of pages flow. It's because they are led by the characters.
Exactly.
So it's my job to try and make these characters super relatable. And then once you care about the characters, you'll want to know what's happening with them. I think that's my trick, if I could call it that.
And it really works. I see it in your writing, and I was thinking when I was reading this to Life of Sin and Carnival Mountain, I was like, I was reading Life of Sin at night, and
you know, how brave of you.
Yeah, very brave. Until I was like, okay, this is nightmares in making, so let's not keep going. But there's a lot of, you can tell that the characters are moving the stories along. They know what they're doing. They know where they're going, and I felt like I was thinking about how it felt like being given permission to write exactly as you want to and to tell the story you want to tell. So I took it as your writing permitting me to write. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think so.
I
think so. It sounds like a huge compliment. Is that a huge compliment?
It should be.
It is.
Because I remember there's this book I've been working on among a lot of other books. But I remember when I started writing it sometime last year, at the top of it, I put it in bold and I said, I permit you to be as wild and as crazy and as unhinged as you want to be about this. And then I just put it there. So every time I open that draft, I go to that page first. But it didn't sink in until I was rereading this book. And I was like, you see that thing you wrote at the top? But this is what you were trying to say. And I was like, this is really... And I felt like there's a blend, especially in No Humans Allowed, there's a sense of, and this is probably going to be my next question, is the influence of the writers you have read growing up, or the writers you read even now, and their influence on your writing. Because I felt like No Humans Allowed has a sense of Kiriamiti and a bit of what maybe Charles Mangwa or
Meja Mwangi.
Yes, Meja Mwangi would write.
Yeah.
And I was like, it felt like a clash of those two worlds.
Yeah.
And what do you feel, or what's your opinion on allowing and they will, with or without your knowledge sometimes.
Yeah. Or your
Because these are
permission.
and you read a lot of what's his name, Stephen King too,
Stephen
and
King,
I
yeah.
think that's where the violence and the torture arises from. So how do you feel or perceive these influences of other writers on your writing?
So, I wasn't just influenced by writers or books, right? I watch as many movies as I read books, or at least I used to. I used to, because I grew up on books, and I grew up on movies. So I tended to, at a certain age, there's this writer, Sidney Sheldon. When I was reading him in primary and high school, I tended to see how visual, and James Hadley Chase too. Old writer. Really good when you're a certain age. For a young boy, especially. yeah. And they tended to be very visual. Like when I was reading this book, it went to my head, like I could see what's happening. Right? And it felt like I was reading movies. More importantly, it felt like I was part of these movies that were unfolding in my head. So it's like they tended to be very, they could transport me into somewhere inside of them, into these very awesome worlds. And so when I could find writers who would be able to do that, because most writers are so hung up on language, and all these flowery,
the poetry of
very pretentious, very I know words. You know, these books I don't like them because I want to read a book and understand and feel and be part of it, right? But if I'm reading a sentence 3-4 times trying to figure out what do you mean, that takes me out of the book. I don't want to do that. So I'm very selective about what I read. And also about what I watch as well. And so this is the feeling that I'm trying to chase as I write my own books. I want to bring you into it, make you part of it. Yeah. So now when the urban part, you see, because I've lived in this city since I came here for university. So since when I was 17, right? So it's been almost 20 years. Right. So I know not just the places in the city, but the spirit of it. And I felt like Charles Magua and Meja Mwangi especially was able to capture the spirit of the city. He was able to capture the spirit of the village even when he wrote about the village. So when it came to city life, I was more about Meja Mwangi, and I'm influenced more by Meja Mwangi than I would be by saying Ngugi wa Thiong'o or even John Kiriamete, right? So those have been my influences growing up. People take a dump on movies, like movies is not a serious, I don't know what, read books. And it's like, why not do both?
Yeah, you should do both. I think it's because they're both different experiences, different incredible experiences. I think the problem is, and I realized that was for me too for a while, trying to get the same experience out of a movie as I would out of a book. But those are two very different media, and you cannot consume them the same way. So once I realized that, I think it became a bit easier to be like, okay, it's okay to, suspend disbelief, as some would say, especially when it comes to flying people.
No, you have to switch on your inner child.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I think it's the influence on writers. I think it was Garcia that said when he read Kafka's Metamorphosis, and he was like, I didn't know we were allowed to write like this. And so he said if he'd known that we were allowed to write like this, he'd have started writing a lot earlier.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need permission to write how we want to write. And we might have to think about audience sometimes, yes, but also half the time the audience finds you. Because I don't think I ever sat down to write with an audience in mind, especially because I didn't even know this writing thing was a thing. It just sort of happened to me along, the pathways of life. And then...
Yeah, it's such a limiting way of thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And so frustrating. because I do have these writing conversations sometimes with people, right? And like I was working on this project, a collection of an anthology of short stories, collabos with other writers, and one of them was super hung up on who is this book for? Think about that before you even write a single word.
Oh,
and it's like, then I won't write.
Yeah.
Because these are too many things that I have to think about. And I just want, if I enjoy this story that I have written, and if I have written it in a way I think is enjoyable, I am sure there are people who think and feel and appreciate things in my way of doing it.
Yes.
Like you said, your people will find you, right? And I feel like this is the best way of creating art. Unfortunately, the way capitalism is set up is you do want these things to pay the bills, right? So I understand where these people who think this way, where they're coming from. You want whatever you are spending your time on to make you as much money as it can, which is amazing. My priority is to infuse as much soul into my work as possible. And if something rings true and honest and good to me, I mean, it will, somebody will buy. Like I say, people are still buying my books even when I don't market them.
I know.
They are good. They just, they are me.
And I think there's this, capitalism, as you mentioned, which is, I feel like, a tragedy for art, because artists are just full of soul, really, and ideas and thoughts. But then the world comes and says, but how do we make money off of this? How do we package this?
Yeah.
We're like, no, can't I just be whimsical and floating and flying? Like, I don't know, but how do you make money doing that?
I know.
I don't know.
It's a conflict. It's the biggest conflict between being an artist and capitalism. This is a conversation, I'm sure, in every country in the world right now. There are people seated down having this very conversation about how to make money out of art. As much of it as possible. And that's why, like, you find, like, creatives, cinema auteurs, should I say, like Martin Scorsese saying Marvel movies are not cinema, because he believes that, because Marvel movies are packaged to sell as many tickets as possible. It's the flying people that you were talking about earlier, right? I on one hand, I agree, I see what Marvel is doing. I do agree Marvel kind of brought down the world's consumption of cinema on the whole, and just encouraged putting out content, because you put out content for money, right? But on the other hand, people have to eat. I get that. On the other hand, it shouldn't come at the expense of now the more niche, I think I should say, books, for example, or cinema. And you'll notice that I am incapable of having conversations about literature without mixing it with cinema. They go so much hand in hand, because they're all about stories. So putting out content, including the Marvel movies and everything, or the franchised books, shouldn't come at the expense of the other niche stuff. There should be a balance somewhere in there. Although I have answered a question you didn't ask.
No, that's the point of the conversation, to drag in anything that is important to this conversation. And the film industry in Kenya, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we not doing? What should we be doing?
I don't know.
Where do we stand in the global platform?
So it's like the publishing industry, right? They share such similar problems. It's amazing. So people have amazing stories. It's just the output it needs. You see how people how when it comes to books, right? Kenyan books, the most Kenyan books that sell are books geared for schools, because that's where the market is. Now, when it comes to movies, in my opinion, the Kenyan film industry, it depends on who is known, you know, because that means it can generate more money, right? So people put their movies, they are written by the same writers who have written the previous projects, to be directed by the same directors, featuring the same actors. Because now you have that package, it means you have something that you can sell to people, right? Because the industry goes where they think the money is going, all right? And that, again, works to the detriment of something different, of something different. It doesn't have to be original. When it comes to stories, there's no originality left. But we do have our own unique ways of seeing things as people, right? And so we don't give credence to new voices. That's why it's so difficult to break into the film industry. And that's why now you find that, it's just a repetition of the same thing. And that thing wasn't even as good to begin with. So now you just keep doing the same thing, just worse and worse and worse and worse. And now the next thing you know, not many people are going to the cinema to see Kenyan movies. Yeah. And also now with books, you'll find that not many people go to the bookshop to check out new voices, new Kenyan voices, right? You have to work very hard for your new voice to be heard. Yeah. So it's the same. Whatever is going on with the publishing, with the book, the literature industry, is the same thing that's going on with the film industry, only worse.
That is.
We do have this one movie that I don't know whether we are going to present it to the Oscars. The Kenyan government will present it to the Oscars. It's called Nawi.
Nawi?
Yeah, you haven't heard of it?
No.
Okay, I don't blame you. I don't know many people who have heard of it.
Okay.
But I know it. I know of it because I love movies, and I'm always on the lookout for new movies, right? And it's an NGO movie, or at least it's a movie that is financed by NGOs, right? And that's another thing about the Kenyan film industry. We do have a lot of NGO money going towards documentaries and movies with a message. Because if an NGO is shelling out money to make a project, to make a movie, it's going to be geared to what they want.
Yes.
Right? Which comes with its own limitations, but at least it's something. Yeah. So we don't have Hollywood or South Korea, the kind of support that, or even the kind of support that Nigeria has for their film industry. We don't have that. But we also now, it goes the other way as well. We also don't have the consumption. Because you see in Nigeria, they made all these dog shit movies forever that people kept on consuming and buying DVDs until now that industry grew into one of the biggest in the world. Can you believe that? So we don't have that here. We don't have that. No, we do have this snobbish approach to Kenyan movies, like, oh, they suck, which they do.
Yeah.
But Nigerian movies sucked and they still do.
And we loved them, growing up. That was the film we knew.
Yeah. And they consumed them, and they kept consuming them until the whole world much of the world knows them, Yeah. So it goes both ways.
Yeah.
We do, as creatives, we do owe our people good things to watch. But on the other hand, these good things, they are made with money. And that's the biggest problem across both industries. I'm talking a lot.
No, you're here to talk.
There's no money to make good things. And the people who have the money, they just keep shelling out the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like since they've already tried that thing and it has worked, then it makes sense to put money into that, because that's the thing they have realized or seen make money.
Name me 5 movies, Kenyan movies, that have come out in the past 10 years.
Why are you putting me on the spot?
No, because I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just trying to make this point off. But how well could it be working if it's not sustainable? If it's the work keeps going, down and down and down, and to the point where people are like, I don't want to go to the cinema to watch
just to
Kenyan movies
see.
anymore, for example. It means that the quality has diminished so much that people aren't as invested.
Yeah.
And so it's like a diminishing returns kind of thing, meaning in 10 years, even the people who think they have something that works today, they won't have it.
That's tragic. And I also feel like it comes back to the point of creating, quote unquote, for the audience.
Yeah.
Because you're assuming that your audience will want this thing for the rest of their lives, or this is what they constantly want.
Yeah.
But even the kind of literature I consume has changed over time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know you like something until you actually see it. So I don't watch movies much. I am on a loop, always watching the same one show over and over.
We know the one.
But I sometimes, step outside of that comfort zone and watch an actual film. And I'm like, this is really good.
Yeah.
If I saw something like this, or not necessarily like similar plot or whatnot, but something that surprises me, I would be open to seeing it on a regular basis.
Yeah. Until then it doesn't work, or it gets too old, and then you need to now keep getting, fresh ideas, fresh things to consume.
Yeah, and I think the only way to do that is to keep the doors as wide open as possible, so that you listen to as many ideas, look at as many scripts, read as many books, so that you see what it is that strikes. And because half the time it's not the thing that you think will work, but once you're open to the idea that something different is needed, you might just find it. And it's there. We have content. I'm telling you, we are writing, we're reading, good stuff.
Yeah.
And, I think that's narrow-minded nature of it is what will probably keep us lagging for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's tragic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is the world over. The world over. Yeah. It's just this commodification of art that, really limits everything else.
It's sad.
Yeah.
I think it was Billy Kahora who was telling us about the Nigerian literary market one time. Could be wrong.
What
I'm not
did
sure
he say?
Who it was. But he said the way they started out is that they were even printing like pamphlets, literally, and just giving them out before they got to this big market, or rather, are they a market or producers of all these books and films? They were writing nonstop.
Yeah.
There were all these, not just books, but there were all these different formats and media they were putting out of stories of all kinds. And I feel like it's that being aggressively writing and also trying to, because the more work we have out there circulating in whatever format, the higher the chance of,
that's the
reaching
thing, though.
An audience.
We do. People write. Kenyans write.
Yeah.
I just saw this morning, Nuria was featured on the newspaper. The weekend.
Yeah.
And they are supporting at the moment 1,800 Kenyan writers.
Amazing.
That's really a lot of writers, right? And that's just Nuria alone, right? I don't think we have. Shida, the problem is not that people are not. Wakenya ujituma. In every sphere of life, Wakenya ujituma. Kenyans hustle.
Yeah.
So and when we were starting out as writers, 2017, 2018, there weren't many of us as there are now, right? But now it's like everybody and their mom is putting out a book. And the problem is that's where the machinery stops.
Yeah.
Because you see now in Nigeria, like there was someone else once you put out your books, there's someone else to meet you at the end of the line.
Yeah.
It's like relay. You run with the stick, right? And then you give it to someone else, and then they run to the other point, they give it to someone. That's the thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And as we just go from here, from one spot, run to that end of the field, and there's nobody there. So now you have to continue with your stick. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the industry now if we could figure out now how to monetize, not as creatives, but as marketers, then this could be figured out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But until that's figured out, there will be other two creative idiots sitting in a room like this 10 years from now talking about the same thing. Yeah.
And I know for art in general, it's a reflection of the society time and time again. And sometimes when I'm reading the classics, I'm like, am I not living through this same thing right now? And I wonder how, when you're writing or when you're creating something that, like we said, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
Especially in the creative, maybe technological developments and whatnot. But for art, it's repeatedly reflecting the society. And sometimes it might feel like we're not making any progress. When you're reading the books of old and you're seeing the same political crap recycled through time, it might feel, sometimes it does feel difficult for me to have a fresh take, because I'm mentally exhausted already by the fact that this hasn't changed in 100 or 200 years.
Yeah.
So then, because even as I'm creating, I want to be writing hope. I want to be writing, I might be observing things as they are, but I also want to really hope that there's something better looming somewhere, just waiting to fall or drop. So how do you create with the hope, and how do you also recycle, quote unquote, but with fresh perspective?
Okay. Brilliant. Amazing questions. So every story has been written, right?
Yes.
No original thought left, blah, blah, etc.
Yeah.
Right? But you haven't written every story.
Yeah.
That's the difference, right? If you're going to write about, let's say, a political turmoil in this country, you have, a million other people have written that,
Yes.
since pre-independence, whatever.
Yeah.
But you haven't. And we all see things differently. We all express ourselves differently, using our own unique experiences and views of the world and our own wit and charm and all that. You and I are both speaking English,
Yes.
right? But we are speaking it differently, based on who we are as people. That's the same thing with writing. So every story has been written, but you haven't written every story. So you can write about anything you want, that's one thing. The second thing is this thing about hope.
There's no hope.
No, there is. Otherwise, I would have just not,
Yeah.
bothered breathing again. But the being cynical is cool and everything, but it is kind of lazy.
Yeah.
It's
think?
just everything is bad, so why try? It's not. It's cool for a minute, but it gets really old really quickly. So when it comes, especially for a writer, right, and especially for writing, yes, you can get away with cynicism, especially very early on in your career. I feel, but then as you get older, you have to also be on the lookout for the positivity in this world. For the people who, in spite of everything, they just wake up in the morning and they keep trying to make the world better. And these people, they don't do it because their lives are so nice. They do it because they do it. I don't know why they do it, but they do it. God bless their hearts. And that I find is a lot more interesting than cynicism, endless cynicism, right?
So no Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment.
It's Russia in 1860s. He can get away with it. Different, difficult times. But a book like No Humans Allowed, for example, there's a tiny note there at the cover which says they thought they knew pain, they knew nothing. So this is a book that has a lot of pain in it. But I also infuse it with hope. And even if it means a good interaction between two people who are going through the worst time of their lives, and they just manage to have a small human moment, that is hope. That's a bit of rain in the desert, and I find that to be more interesting than just misery after misery after misery, because that's not even life. Even in life, there are moments of sunshine,
True.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about it now. Your characters do have that sense of reconciliation at the end of the stories. Even the ones that I feel like, as much as some of your characters, even the supposedly unlikable ones, you just kind of have a thing for them. Because I don't think there's a character that I should hate that I have fully hated. I'll be like, I don't like this, but I like how you're doing this. Or I like, there's something about this character, which is, sometimes a lot of life is looking at everything from more than just one
from
perspective.
every angle,
And I think the purpose of art is to give you all those angles so that you can make up your mind about.
Because if you don't, who will? Because you remember that day-to-day experience I mentioned earlier. Wake up, get ready for work, go to work, leave work, come home, get ready for bed, go to sleep. You're so caught up in that cycle, you don't have much thought of feeling for much else. You're in this, you're the hamster, in movies, just running around that wheel forever and ever and ever. But when you're a writer, you have the privilege to try and invest yourself in life in a more three-dimensional way. So even the people who you don't agree with, even the people who you feel whatever they are saying is wrong and you really don't like these people. I saw this, I keep opening parentheses when I'm talking, so bear with me. I saw this clip on a Harvard, a kid, a 22-year-old was graduating from Harvard, right? And the valedictorian or whatever, I don't know what they call them. And he was giving a speech, right? And it was a very wise speech for a 22-year-old. I wouldn't like to be like that. I want to
At
be
22?
childish at 22. Yeah. But very, very wise. And one of the things he said was, listen as if you are wrong. Right? And that's the job of being a writer. It's, you know nothing. Like, you go about life as if, or at least have conversations as if you are on the wrong side of it. As if you're the guy who is saying, abortion is terrible under all circumstances, So listen to people as if you are that guy, as if you are wrong. And then, because you will understand where these people are coming from. You don't have to agree with them, but you understand who they are when they are saying this. And that's the job of a writer, is to experience life from as many perspectives as you can, right? And then be able to communicate that effectively, efficiently, and well in a book, right? Or in your movie or whatever, right? Because you are one of the people who has been given that privilege in life. Most people don't have that. They are too busy trying to make it to the end of the day.
True.
So once again, I have forgotten what the point was. but that was the point.
I hear you. And I think when we think about audience when creating, that is something I'd be willing to think about. The perspectives I'm bringing to whatever audience that's going to read whatever I'm writing, instead of thinking what age, what race, what gender, I would rather be thinking about what perspective and what is it I'm trying to achieve through this character who's thinking like this, doing these things like this. Because I have to think about it anyway. But then it's also not just that. Sometimes I feel like, oh, actually, this is a question that I had at the back of my mind. And we're often we only write characters that are as smart as we are. Because you can't write what you don't know or what you can't think. So what is it? Because I feel like I'm learning a lot through my characters, not just by the research, but sometimes what pops up when they're thinking in a moment, I'm like, damn, that's brilliant. I can't believe it came out of my mind because it feels like it didn't.
Yeah.
So we're also winding up. But what is it that you're learning as you're creating? What is writing teaching you as much as you're doing the writing?
Just mostly it's life. Mostly it's life. Cause mostly it's about the discipline of it,
Yeah.
the craft of it. Um, I know I will never be the best writer in history, which is amazing
Yeah.
because it gives me something to aspire to until I'm dead.
Yeah.
Right? So it gives me a mission. It's not some, it's, I don't know whether this is teaching me anything, but it puts me in the position where I'm like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
And this bone is to be the best at this as I can be. And I know I will never be
Yeah.
good enough for myself.
Yeah.
Right? So that teaches me a kind of discipline
Yeah.
and resilience and perseverance to keep going. Especially since it can be very thankless, it can be very unrewarding, but it's also teaching me that I can love something beyond what I thought was possible for myself.
Yeah.
You know, so it teaches me this. It gives me these life lessons
Yeah.
for myself as a human being. That have nothing to do maybe with morals or being smart or whatever. It just teaches me what I can be capable of as a human being.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I think
Why?
that's-
Has it taught you anything?
It has taught me that I am resilient, even when I don't understand something, that I can keep
Forget
going.
understanding.
Yeah.
No.
And it also,
Uh-huh.
because like you said, I think even the writers that we consider the greatest that ever lived never considered themselves the greatest that ever lived. And some of them, unfortunately, even died believing that their writing was never good enough.
Yeah.
Some of them stopped writing because they were critiqued so harshly in their time
Yeah.
for the kind of stories they wrote or told. And so it's just this. Sometimes I feel very fortunate to be in that loop with all these people that tell these wonderful stories that I read and love. But then also I read the bios of them. Sometimes I'm like, how could anybody convince you that you were not good enough?
Yeah. And they were depressed.
And they were
And
depressed.
alcoholics.
Yeah.
Chain
And some of them
smokers.
shot themselves in the head. And
Hemingway was sick though.
was
No. Sorry. So these Americans think he's one of the greatest
Yeah.
writers ever. And for the longest time I just thought, oh, he got depressed and blew his head off with
Yeah,
a
he
shotgun.
didn't.
No, it turns out he was sick. Like he had this.
Mentally sick?
I forget what disease this was, but it put him in a lot of pain,
Yeah.
physical pain. He just couldn't keep doing it, and there was even a time he tried to throw himself into the rotors of a plane, like shh, and then people kept stopping him.
He really
So
wanted
I don't know how
to
he
go.
got.
Yeah.
How he came across a shotgun, but I
Yeah.
guess the moment he came across it, he was
He was
like,
I'm out.
yeah, bye, goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, we have Plath, we have Virginia Woolf, and
Yeah.
all these people that I really admire. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I could understand.
Yeah.
So,
It's the fact that we could understand.
yes,
Yeah, that
just that sense of, even more than the writing bit of my life, I think I love the reading bit a lot more because that's where everything else or everything feels to come from, even for my writing a lot of times, other than of course the experience of living. So
living
on
is
that
awesome.
philosophical note, thank you so much for joining me today. It was so good to see you, and I know a lot of your readers are hoping that they will continue to read from you, but take your time, no pressure. I don't think you can be pressured at this point, but thank you
Nah,
so much for joining me. Thank
my
you
pleasure.
for joining me for another session of Authors Fit. My name is Munira Hussein, and I have been talking to Charles Chanchori, author, screenplay writer, and all round creative in every sense of the word, I think. So thank you so much. See you next time and have a lovely time.